So many people are saying that Metroid Prime 4 looks awful, and I kind of understand what they're saying. So let me break down those claims and let's look at the new trailer and all that stuff and just kind of understand why people think this, and if I fully agree with them, what I do like, what I don't like, and what Nintendo could have done, to fix this problem and make it look actually good and fun to play. First of all, something I've seen a lot of people say is that they just suck at doing trailers, and I have to agree with that. Metroid Prime 4 has not had good trailers. They have not shown this game off the way they needed to make this sell systems. Not that that really matters, but because this is for the hardcore audience anyways. But to make this prove that it's worth a full $70, that you need to go buy it today, like I'm just not seeing what makes this game so good or why I need to play this game. We've seen a lot of gameplay from it, from a lot of the trailers, and it looks graphically, in most parts, especially in those really condensed sections, it looks really good. It looks detailed. It seems to be running well, but it seems pretty slow pace as well. Like if I was coming from Call of Duty and I was blasting people, and then I saw this, this seems just so much slower. And obviously this isn't the same thing as Call of Duty. Like this is a completely other game. This is single player experience, not a multiplayer, first person shooter. But I would totally understand why people would think that this game just seems slow, doesn't seem super fun, because the trailers just don't show off a lot of the fast-paced actions. Like we've seen a lot of explosions and some of the very intense graphics that this game has to offer, and you know what? I think it looks great. For a Nintendo Switch 1 game, this looks really good. But the trailers just haven't shown off the crazy action. The last trailer we got showed off the new psychic abilities, and it was like, oh yeah, Samus can use these psychic abilities. Samus can open doors. Oh, okay, we can open doors. Thank you. What a good gameplay mechanic. I love that I can open doors with my psychic ability. Like, they just didn't show off that good of a use case for it. And then they also showed the new psychic ability could use that missile that flows around and flies around the map that you can control. But again, that missile was just going so slow. But regardless, if you like Metroid Prime, you kind of know that this is a slower paced game when you're just walking through and, going through all the 3D levels and all that stuff. That's just the gameplay. So I can't fault it for that. I think they should have shown off maybe a couple boss fights. We really haven't seen that many boss fights. Most of the discussion and most of this gameplay and graphics, people saying it looks bad, comes from the recent trailer. The brand new Nintendo Direct trailer from September 12th. I gotta agree. The first thing I thought was that this looks pretty bad. They showed off the new Viola bike, Samus and Viola. The name of the motorcycle's Viola, by the way. And I gotta say, Samus looks absolutely dope on the bike. Looks so cool. You got the purple stuff around the wheels. Samus just, slides in. Like, she looks pretty dang cool on that bike. And I'm very interested to see how this, how much of the bike we're actually going to be using in the game. Like, is this going to be a core gameplay mechanic? Is this desert the only place we're going to be using it? However, the very first thing I noticed was how barren and empty this desert looked when you were on the bike. Like, this looks completely bland. Like, yes, it's a desert, and deserts probably do actually look like this, but there was no, tumbleweeds or cactus or whatever. Like, this is just bland. There's no sort of environmental, like, dust blowing in the wind. The motorcycle is kind of kicking up some dust, but not much. There's no big tire trails in the sand as much as, it could be on, a PlayStation 5 game or something. We did see that Samus can attack with the bike, that there's things flying around it, but I totally understand why some people would think that this open world Metroid just looks bland and boring, because that's the first thing I thought too. There are a lot of structures around that it seems that you can go to, but I really just think that we got to play this to kind of understand how the overall motorcycle plays and what you got to do. Now, I did notice there was some environmental like popping in the trailer as well when you were driving on the bike, but I really don't think you'll fully understand how this mechanic really works until you start playing it or until the next trailer. They just got to show off more intense scenes in this trailer. The crazy thing is, like, once you get off the bike, the game looks fantastic again. In these very condensed areas, the game looks so good. Then there was like that wolf section with all the frost and everything. Like, yeah, I'm excited for this. And as a Metroid Prime fan, I can see the potential. But, as a non-Metroid Prime fan, I would imagine that some people are kind of turned off by this game, especially with that desert area. But I think that, I'm really excited to play it. I'm very curious to know how involved the bike is in the game, and just the overall gameplay style. One thing I think a lot of people forget is the fact that this is a Switch 1 game, and if you played any open world game on the Nintendo Switch 1, you'll know there are some major issues. This desert map reminds me a lot of the Sonic Frontiers second world, and I mean, Sonic Frontiers was running under 480p or something. It looked like it was running at 480p or under, like it looked really bad. So even if the Switch 1 is running at 1080p and has this desert, I think this looks really good. And I don't know how much graphically they're really changing between the Switch 1 and the Switch 2. Like, I don't know if they're going to be downscaling some of the textures on the Switch 1 or anything like that, or if it's literally just a resolution downgrade and a frame rate downgrade. Like, we know that Metroid Prime on the Switch 1 is running at 1080p at 60, and the Switch 2 version will be running at 4K 60 or 1080p 120 frames per second. So who knows, maybe they will be changing a lot more, like the textures, or really, who knows. But we do know that this was Switch 2 gameplay because they said so at the beginning of the trailer. There was like a little splash page underneath that said it was all Switch 2 gameplay. So I'm really curious to see how the Switch 1 game even runs, or how that looks, especially in this open world desert. But yes, I totally understand why people think Metroid Prime 4 looks bad, but only in the massive desert area. You know, it kind of sucks because I think when they showed off the desert area, when they like were close up on the bike and then it went into the open world where you could see all of the sand and everything, I think Nintendo really meant for that to be like a really big moment, like, whoa, Metroid Prime is kind of open world. I think that was supposed to be a really big deal, but a lot of people were just kind of thrown off because of how bad it looked, which makes sense. I don't know who's working on these trailers, but I think they probably could have handled that a little bit better. Look, there's gotta be different areas to ride your bike than just the desert, right? Or maybe not. I don't know. I really hope so. But even one other place that wasn't the desert, or even making it a more condensed place in the desert to make it look graphically better, I mean, I think that would have gone a long way. I really liked how she was fighting the enemies on it. That looks like a lot of fun. And it looks fast and it looks entertaining. Yeah, I have no doubt that it's going to be fun gameplay-wise. I just think they probably could have showed it off a little bit better. And yes, it's a Switch 1 game, so the graphics aren't going to be as good. I think we just need one more trailer to show it off. I think there's probably going to be a Nintendo Direct for this game, probably middle of November, a few weeks before this game comes out, like they've been doing with these big Nintendo games recently. I have no doubt there's going to be a Direct to show off even more about this game, and I think that's when we can really tell if this game is going to be good graphics-wise or not. I'm hoping there's more to it, but I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, it is a Switch 1 game. They'd only go so far to make it look as good as they can on the Switch 2. But anyways, let me know what you think. Do you think that this game looks bad, or do you think people are just being dramatic? Let me know if you're looking forward to this, and thanks for watching. Consider liking and subscribing as well. I'll see you in the next one. See you later.